Hey J-Team, it's your boy Justin coming at you with another video. This is a new device that I picked up. Not brand new, but it's a new water damage project. Um, what this is an asus phone. I'll give you a close-up right there. It says asus. And so that's what the front of this looks like. That's what the back of it looks like. I'll turn it sideways here, get a bit of a better look at her. Okay, and what's wrong with this device is it was left plugged in for over 8 hours, and I'll hold the power in. So you can see I'm pressing the power button right there. There's volume up and down. There's power. And nothing. Doesn't turn on. I got an official charger here. Type A charger. It's plugged into a power strip down below here. That's how the phone's able to charge and stay powered, is because I have it plugged in to the power unit. So when I plugged this in, I did leave this plugged in overnight and nothing happened. All that happens when you plug it in is you'll get a, let's see if I can show you up close here. Oh, it's not going to show very well on camera, is it? There we go. You guys can see that. See that orange light right there? It'll just stay orange like that. Nothing will come up on the screen. It won't turn on. And I'll even show you with the power button. Again, I'm pressing the power, holding it in, and right there it should have turned on, and nothing. Nothing. Doesn't turn on. So it'll just stay orange like that, light right here, and it won't go past that. So something's really wrong with this device. And then now there's just nothing, and same thing, holding in the power. See, there's a volume up and down, my fingers on the power button, and just absolutely nothing, not even a green light over here saying that's turning on. Stone dead. So we're gonna take this entire water damaged phone apart. Now I've had this apart before and looked at it, and as bad as this device is, there's still maybe a chance. Now what I have beside me here, it's not on camera right now, is alcohol cleaner. This stuff doesn't look like, you can see how much I use this alcohol, it's a different color. So basically I put the board in there and scrub it and stuff like that. So that's the alcohol cleaner. I have a cheap screwdriver set. That's the screwdrivers I use. Okay. They do the job to take it apart, but those will only work for phones that don't have the tri-lobe screws, pentalobe screws, and all that special stuff. I do have a set coming in that will have every single bit for any electronic device. So anything to do with computers, game consoles, phones, tablets. This set that I have coming in is 122 piece. Every bit, every driver will be in there. So then I'll be able to take anything apart. Doesn't matter what kind of screws they are. So, oh, in another video I have another surprise for everybody, which I haven't made a video on this kind of repair. It involves the solder iron, and I will be uploading that video soon. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click on the thumbs up. Also click on the bell down below. Make sure you click on all notifications so you get all my new content and uploads and all that stuff. Hope everybody's having a good day, and let's take apart this water damaged Asus Zenfone 3 Max 5.2 or 5.5 smartphone. So what I like to do first, and make sure you do this when you take this phone apart. I see so many people make this mistake and then they destroy the SIM tray and damage the phone. Make sure right let's see if I can get this on camera. Right here, see that little hole right there? That's your SIM tray piece. You just stick your tool. Yeah, I'll use my other hand here. Stick your tool in there, give it a bit of a push, and there's your SIM tray. And then, this is a dual SIM one, and just so you can see it there, so again, your little hole's right there, and the tray, and you want to pull it out. And this is what the dual SIM looks like. You can put an SD card or another SIM card in there. So yeah, make sure you remove that tray, because if you try to pull it apart without doing that, you can damage the phone, and you can also ruin the main board in there too. So you could cause more damage to the main board, so make sure. Then I just use my fingernails, whatever's left out of my fingernails, to get underneath and release the clips, or you could use like a play card or a spudger. Just make sure if you do that, don't dig the thing in too far, because then you can damage the phone more. I just use my fingernails, and I just go around the seam, and I'll show you here once I get this clips. I'll show you it popped apart. See it popped apart there? See these little clips? They go all the way around the entire phone, and it just starts coming apart. So now I'll just pull it apart here, and then I'll show you inside the case. Also, don't just rip this open. There's a cable you have to disconnect in there that goes from the home button to the main board. You rip that, and you'll no longer have home button functional fingerprint or home button or anything like that. You could still use your device, but then you just wouldn't have a home button, which sucks lots of the time, because lots of people use the home button in their smartphones, whatever phone you got that has a home button. And they are handy. So right now I'm just, trying to, I see what happened. The clips on the one side popped back in on me. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to show you that. Just trying to be real careful as I'm, can't use that fingernail there, I gotta use this one. Come on. Just trying to pop this clip right here. It's being a little bit of a toughie. There we go. Okay. So before pulling it apart, there's an idea of what it looks like with the clips. Okay. And they go all the way around the phone. I'll even show you here. See those clips? Look at that. They go all the way around the entire phone. So you want to make sure you release those clips. When you lift this up, now I'm going to show you on this, lifting up this SIM tray side. If I can get it here very carefully and slowly. Whoop, almost dropped her, but I had my hand underneath, so I stopped it in time. Let's try that again. There we go. So underneath, I'm going to show you here. As you can see right there, let's get a close up at that. As you can see right there, this ribbon, see this cable coming up from here up to here? That's your home button cable. So if you go to rip it off, I'll show you here gently. If you go to rip that off, you'll lose your home button. So right here where I'm pointing, let's see if I can get that. Oh yeah, there we go, on camera, that works. So right there is your clip, like the ribbon connector. There we go. And now I disconnect that. Just use a spudger or whatever, as long as it's not metal. And if it is metal, let's see if I can get that on camera too. Right there's your battery. Make sure you unplug the battery first, then disconnect it. I'm actually using a CPU spreader that came with the CPU kit, some MX4, and I'm gonna just use that to disconnect the home button, just like that. And there's your cable, there's everything in there, okay? And honestly, if you look in here, see how nice and clean that is? No corrosion. Yeah, I'll put that up here. And then that's what the inside of the phone looks like. Now from the first bit of look here, see how goldish colored this is? That should be silver, just as silvery as this, even more nicer than that. This part down here is okay, the battery's okay. Basically the only part that's damaged is the main board here. So that's a bit of a look at the inside here. I don't need to keep that on my, or yeah I do. So I'm just gonna disconnect the battery. As you can see right there, for everybody to see, battery's no longer connected to the main board. Disconnect my little antenna. Antenna's now disconnected. Antenna disconnected, battery. Now we got our LCD connector right here and our charging connector. So you want to disconnect those. And yes, they have little, they're not ones that you pull like this, they're ones you flip up and they fold upwards. Be careful though, they break real easily. You can ruin those so fast. So I recommend if you have fingernails, very gently lift up using your fingernails, very gently. Shouldn't take any force, it should be nice and easy. I don't know if you'll be able to see that on camera. Right here. So I flipped up the little latch right there, and I flipped up the latch right there. Okay. So once again, LCD screen connector, charge connector. Here's our power button and volume up and down connector going underneath here. So antenna, battery, screen, charge, and power on and off, volume up and down. Okay. Just grab my little Phillips head, very tiny. These are not bad tools, they're about $6 for this set. You know, pretty cheap set of screwdrivers, but you know what? They're not that bad. I'm going to use my little trusty beer bottle cap to store all my little screws in, because in asus phones, most asus phones are the exact same size screws. They're not different lengths on most of them. I don't know about the other asus phones, but this exact one here that I'm working on, all the screws are the same length. So you don't need to worry about mixing up your screws in this phone or anything, because, you know. So, there's our back piece off. Okay. That up there. And there you go. So I'll give you a close-up look on that. See right there? Let me give, oops. There we go. So right here is our screen connector, or sorry, our power on and off, volume up and down connector. Plugs, it has usually held on by adhesive right here, and then it plugs into this connector. This is a flip up type, not pull back type. So what I mean by that is, let me show you. So the connector flips up like that. So my finger's pulling upwards. And then afterwards, I'm going to give you close. Come on, camera, focus. I don't know if you can see that, but it's flipped upwards now. So now you just pull that up. Let's try to pull that up. Pull backwards and out. Okay? Another thing, I got a couple more screws. I was just the upper part that I took off there. I was finished taking these screws out here. Now, to note, I work on not just liquid damaged phones and tablets and computer stuff. I work on any kind of liquid damaged electronic device. Doesn't matter what kind of liquid was either spilled on it or whether the device was fully submerged. It could be any kind of liquid damage. You know, because a lot of shops don't work on any kind of liquid damage device, maybe water damage or something like that, but I'll work on any liquid damage device. Doesn't matter what the liquid is that's built into it or fully submerged it. So what I did there is I undid a clip. I'll take the board out and show you. So here's the main board removed. I'll put it like back here so you can see it. So right here, let's see if I can get this on camera. Right here's a little clip, and where's that at? Yeah, just that one. Clip there, and the clip here. The board slides into that clip, which will then slide into these two connectors, our screen, charging port, and other accessories, battery, and our antenna, and then everything else, our speaker and whatever else. But as you can see, this is a nice shape. So honestly, this whole part of the phone, the back housing, the SIM tray, that other plastic piece and stuff, that's all good. It's just the main board. Off camera, a while back, I was able to test everything with a Google account locked board to see if everything else would function, and it did. And this was the original water damage board that never did power on. So then I thought I'd just see if those other parts at least could be used if a good main board was found. And those all are good, so I know where there's donor parts. But first I want to see if we can get this to revive and come back. So I want to show you how burnt and bad this looks. So check out how burnt and bad that looks. That is really bad. See how silverish this is? These panels here should be that same color. And they're just burnt. And the back ones aren't as horrible, but they're still somewhat burnt. Hopefully everybody can see that on camera. But otherwise, I got the main board pretty clean. You can see there's barely, if not no corrosion on the actual onboard components. That looks pretty clean to me. Yeah, a little bit closer there. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is remove all these shields that can be pulled off so you can see underneath them. I'm also going to disconnect, okay, right here. That's our selfie camera. It's usually adhesive down to this piece of gold here. Like that. But it just keeps popping off because I've used alcohol cleaner, so I just disconnect our camera. So selfie camera removed. That's good, by the way. Selfie camera's fine. And last but not least, coming off the back right here is our rear camera. So then I just pop up, again using my fingernails, not a metal tool, because I'll short the heck out of components. There's our rear camera taken off. This is fine. So there's a lot of good parts. Just basically, is there anything else? Yeah. Just this is toast, the main board. Unless we can fix it. So that's where the alcohol comes in hand. So there's panel one. I'm going to show you the inside of how bad this looks. Check out how burnt that is in the inside of the panel. That is just black. That's burnt. You can see where the components have burnt to that. They got so hot. Okay? Are those metal panels though reusable? Yes. You can use them on a good board and it won't hurt nothing. I've already cleaned all the corrosion that was in there, and there's green and white and different colored corrosion. And that's just the burn marks after it was cleaned, the aftermath of, so. And yes, components in phones, they get really hot when they're liquid damaged, and they can start a fire. Like, they can actually cause the main board, if it gets hot enough, it can cause the battery to explode and all that stuff. So a little too far there with my finger, with the one nail on my one finger here. But don't worry, I'm not hurt. It's just you don't want to go too far in or else you can hit your skin under your nail. But I'm all good. Almost there, everybody, almost there. Oop. Yeah, have a look at this. See how nicely burnt that is? Hope you're able to see that on camera. That is burnt. Okay, give you a bit of a close-up. Okay, and then that's the back. Any tech out there, let me know if that's normal, because I'm sure it's not. I'm certain that's burnt, like that's bad. Let me show you what I'm looking at here. So what I'm looking at here is that. Check that out. I'm going to take it back a little farther from there so you can see a little more clear. See, those components don't look too bad. They don't look burnt to me from this angle. And yes, they still show the writing on them. But look at those shields. Oh, and by the way, sorry, I almost slipped there. That shield there does not come off unless you have the desoldering equipment. It is soldered on completely. Like if you look at that, it is soldered right to the board. So I'd have to have the reworking station to be able to remove that. So yeah, so anyway, so now it's time to take the shields off this side. Now wait till you see what this shield right here looks like underneath. On eye view, the back of it's nice and silvery, but the inside has one spot that's a little bit, it's not as bad as those two shields I showed you. Those were real bad. Yeah. See this? This is more like what it should look like with a regular water damage device. Like that. See how beautiful that looks? Go from that nice shield, looking like that, as nice as that looks, to this shield on the way that looks. Okay? I am certain that's not normal, that's water damage, and that's the device like boiling itself. And it literally did. I could hear the thing bubbling. Like it, you can hear sizzling and all different crackling sounds. And yeah, it wasn't good. So I'm going to remove the other shield. So see, that one that was real clean was right here. I'm removing this one now to show you. And this one, there was a lot of bubbling and crackling, and let's just say the components that are under there are very important components. Without those, the device couldn't possibly boot up. So I'll show you what I'm talking about when I pull this off. You're gonna like this. Check that out. Look how burnt that is. Can you see the outlining right? Let me hold it here like this. The outlining right here and here. Have a look at that closely. See what it looks like? Look how nice and burnt that is. Now let me show you. Oh yeah, sorry, here's the back of what it looks like. This stuff right here, this stuff is just adhesive, but underneath that shield, like the three shields look real horrible. Underneath that one shield is right here. These two guys. One is the NAND chip and one is the CPU or APU, whatever you call it. I'm pretty sure it's called CPU and NAND. Just look at that though. But see up close, see how you can still see the writing on them? So they've gotten really, really, really hot. So now, for a full look at the board, with those off, okay? And you can pause the video at any time if you want, when you're watching this. And there's that side of that board. Give you a little bit more of a close-up. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this entire board and I'm going to soak it in alcohol. And hopefully that can get underneath the BGA components and get it just enough to remove some of the corrosion that's under there, because there's going to be a lot of corrosion. Because these chips, when I first had this apart, there was corrosion all over the place, all over the back side of the board, the front of it, all over the APU is what I'm going to call instead of calling it CPU, I'm going to call it APU and NAND and other components. It was bad. So I'm just going to, and actually you guys probably want to watch me clean it, so it's right here. Okay, there's the board. All I'm doing right now is I'm just gonna, just like an ultrasonic, I'm just gonna shake. I know it's not identical, but I'm just gonna shake the board in there for a while, and hope that this alcohol gets underneath. And switch it to the other side. Now this is 99.9% IPA. This is powerful stuff. So even if it is a little dirty like that, it still does a real good cleaning job. And I've filtered this alcohol cleaner through coffee filters about 10 times and it still comes out like that. But it doesn't have the black silk that was at the bottom with the little metal shards and stuff mixed in. So there's no longer that kind of danger to data recovery boards and stuff. So now I'm gonna go like that, and I'm gonna grab a toothbrush, soak it. I'm just gonna start cleaning the heck out of all the components. Now this is a light bristle toothbrush I'm using here. It's not a hard bristle. There's most likely going to be a bunch of resistors and stuff like that, capacitors, some diodes, and a bunch of other stuff that's going to be unhappy and not, doing too good with all this corrosion. But with this alcohol, it should clean lots of it off of there. Lots of times, as long as all the shields are removable, even I've seen phones, even shields you couldn't remove unless you had the rework station come back to life without removing them. Only problem with that is you gotta make sure the phone's 100% dry. And never ever stick the device in rice or silica. Make sure you take the device apart right away. As soon as it's water damaged or liquid damaged, no matter what the liquid is, unless it's acid or like pure acid poured on the device, or something that can eat away your fingers and cause real harm to you. Open the device up right away. Even if the battery's built in, find a way to open it, disconnect the battery, because you want to get the power removed from the board and from that phone as fast as you can. And that's a better way to save your phone. Even if your device comes back from leaving it in the rice, that doesn't get rid of all the moisture. It just gets rid of the moisture on the outside of the phone, not the inside. And even if it gets to the inside, you're just letting all that white powder and molecules and stuff from the rice get into the phone and cause more corrosion. And that can eat terminals, tracings, and cause extreme problems to that phone. Actually destroy devices pretty bad, but that's why I'm here, because lots of times I can recover stuff like that. So, and not just phones and computers and stuff like that, game consoles, tablets, Apple Watches, smartwatches, all sorts of stuff, cameras, solid state hard drives, SD cards, flash drives, all sorts of things, Show you how much cleaner that's looking. Look at the upper portion there. See the glare coming off that? That is really, really well cleaned. So it is coming. I'm just looking around this one chip, which is what lots of technicians, cell phone techs like to call the TriStar chip. Let me know in the comments down below, the cell phone techs and stuff. That chip right there, is that the TriStar chip? Or is this one here the TriStar? Is this the TriStar or is this one the TriStar? Okay, I'm calling this one right here the TriStar chip. Okay, that's what I'm cleaning right now. I'm looking around, see if there's any BGA balls like melted out of it, and there's not, thank goodness. And there's actual underfill, so I'm going to cover up this chip that I'm calling the TriStar. So this chip right here has underfill around it. Whew, this is strong stuff. So I'm going to clean actually both of those really well. Make sure I'm on, you know, you're able to see me scrubbing away on this. I'm going to try to, and obviously if the TriStar was gone, it wouldn't even show that charging, you know, light on there, and it's showing. So something's getting through. It's just, I'd say the APU or the NAND has shorted. Possibly. But most likely from all that corrosion though that was there. And there's probably corrosion underneath on the little solder balls underneath for the BGA stuff. And I don't have the equipment yet to do the reballing and all that, but eventually I will. And then I'll, you know, around where the battery goes. I'm just looking at those little components. Ooh. Huh. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Where's my glasses? These are not long distance. These are glasses. They're just, they're readers, 100 plus readers glasses for magnifying. Allows me to see up close, you guys, J-Team, on what I am working on. Let's see. Yeah, the writing looks good on all these little BGA chips. The writing is there. Even on the tiniest ones, I can see the writing's there. Yeah, that one there that I was saying was TriStar, I'm pretty sure it is. Can I read the 729 something something? I can't read the rest. 729 something. I can't read the rest on that because it's so tiny. We got a Skynix. The bigger BGA chip on the back is called Skynix, and it is a I can read it to you here, K9TQ17AB JTAC, which would be JTAC URKQM, and then a big space 652A. That's what I'm reading that off of, is this big chip right here, which I'm pretty sure that's the APU, and then right here's the NAND. I'm pretty sure one of them is one of those. Anyway, so let's continue. Let's reliquify that. That was just my wall grandfather clock going off. It's a battery operated and digital digital chime. It only goes off on the hour. And that other fan noise, if you can hear that, the other fan noise is my old 2008 PS3. I'm doing a full format on the hard disk. So I'm fully formatting the system. And then I'm going to re-put a bunch of games on it and stuff. And that one's going to be another YouTube video. I'm going to fully dismantle the system, clean it. You should see how much dust is in there. You can't even see through the ventilation. It's so bad. You know, if I had the desoldering equipment, I could remove all these shields off of here and get to so much more stuff. I really wish I had the money to afford that equipment, but I don't. I mean, it's several thousands of dollars to buy that equipment. And I know there is cheaper equipment out there, but I don't want that. I want the really good equipment. You know, the equipment that has like the, you know, the rework station that has the nozzle that comes down. You have the little, what is that called? Thermal sensor and the two lights that come out. Has the whole part where you can mount down motherboards to it. Has the heater from underneath. Just all that jazz, all that good stuff. And of course the soldering station. And but by the time you're getting stuff like that, it can then be tens of thousands of dollars or more. You know, unless you're buying pre-owned, and that's risky. Unless you know who you're buying it from, it's very risky. I'd buy brand new, you know, rework stations and stuff, not pre-owned. Unless it's a $10,000 unit selling for $500, you know, I wouldn't recommend it. So I'm just cleaning up all the connections, J-Team. And just trying to give this a thorough cleaning to make sure all the components get what they need, you know, for the cleaning process and all that. And another thing I want to get is a really good ultrasonic cleaning system. So then I have an ultrasonic cleaner, and whatever I can't get that's underneath those chips, most likely the ultrasonic could get some of that out of there. You know, so down the road, that's what I'm going to order, is an ultrasonic. And I will show everybody the ultrasonic machine once I got it. And some of the new tools and stuff like that. You know? Get some more alcohol cleaner. I'm really giving this thing a good cleaning to make absolute certain that this device doesn't have any corrosion or gunk underneath the connectors and stuff like that. Because sometimes if your connectors have gunk under them, that can cause a device malfunction. So I'm just making absolute certain. And it looks like I'm putting a lot of pressure down, but I'm not. I'm being actually quite gentle. And there's another, what are you? Another 2 capacitors and a little resistor that is a little bit not looking too happy on one spot. So that's probably what's wrong with it too. Those have to be replaced. We'll see, I guess, once it's all properly cleaned. We'll assemble it, try turning it on, see if it fails, see if it works. And once in a while I'll look at the TV, see where the PS3's at. And it's getting there, it's almost halfway. Can even use the brush to flip up the little latch on the screen connector here. Or, I keep calling the wrong connectors. I meant this connector right here for the power on and off, volume up and down ribbon cable. I tend to do that sometimes. I'm just going to give it a very good cleaning. I know the power on and off this ribbon connector does work to a point, because I had it, one point, you know, where it was making that sizzling and all that. It was, it only started doing that after I pressed the on button and the volume up and down, so that meant that connection was being made, and of course when it started sizzling like that, I right away disconnected the battery, and it sure wasn't plugged in, so. Another little BJ chip that I gotta make sure both sides of it have a nice clean job. Telling you, lots of these components look pretty good. In a lot of shops, what they'll do is if you wire damage a device, like I can actually see with these on you guys nice and clearly on the screen there, and see myself too. But they're not meant to see far distance. But from me to the camera, I can see perfectly fine. But anyway, so the asus zenfone 3 Max 5.5 and 5.2 are not water resistant, not at all. As a matter of fact, most asus phones are not water resistant. And when they say water resistant, they mean splash resistant, not fully submerged under the water. Okay? So a lot of people make mistakes like that. They think, oh, the phone's waterproof. Well, it's not. It's not even water resistant. Microsoft has just a Microsoft phone or whatever one that one is. It's not water resistant. There's Apple and Samsung phones. They say they're water resistant, but what they're trying to actually say to you guys, which they won't because they want you to buy a new device, is they're splash resistant. They just make it sound like they're water resistant and waterproof, so you destroy your device and have to buy a new phone. The iPhones and the Samsung phones aren't actually water resistant, unless they put in their pamphlet, like the little manual that says what the IP rating is. Say IP 68 splash proof, or not even IP68. Just put water resistant only if the device had droplets of water or something, like if used in rain, like rain got on it or something. That would be different. But what they're trying to do to their customers is they're saying, oh, our devices are water resistant, you can go under 5 feet for a half hour, you can do this and that, and your device will never get ruined. Well, they get ruined. And then when you want to warranty them and send them out there, like, oh, the device isn't covered under liquid damage, and they send your device back, right? And so they rip off a lot of customers that way, like, or let's say you get the $15 a month water damage, physical damage warranty, then they charge you $300 to $400 on replacing the device, and you don't even get your data back unless you're backed up to Google Cloud, the cloud with Google, with Android devices, or iCloud with Apple. So, yeah. So is the device actually water resistant? Well, splash resistant, yes. Fully submerged water resistant or waterproof? Absolutely not. Okay? So I'm trying to save people that think the devices are water resistant fully or waterproof. They are not. It doesn't matter what the price of the device is. It could be a $4,000 phone and it's still not waterproof. They put a seal in there so if your device gets, accidentally dropped in water, you can quickly grab it out. as long as you grab it real fast, and your device will be fine. You just gotta dry it off and everything. Make sure all the parts are completely dry. There, you know, there's no such thing out there. Doesn't matter what brand, what manufacturer manufactures the device. There's absolutely no such thing as a waterproof smartphone, or even fully water resistant. Splash resistant, yes, several phones out there. Fully submerged under the water resistant, no. No. If there was a fully waterproof phone, you'd pay something like, I'd say 20 grand or more for something like that. But no. There is no such thing as a fully water resistant or fully waterproof phone. They do that so you have to buy a new device. You know? So, yeah, if you want to save your device, don't get it wet at all. And if you're going to get any kind of device wet, and the only real waterproof device would be the newer GoPros. And even they can get water damaged. Okay? So, take my advice. You want to save yourself lots of money, don't get your devices wet. But then when they get wet, then it can make me have a nice job to fix. But at the same time, I'm trying to save people from wrecking their devices. I've had iPhone XRs come in. I've had iPhone XS Maxes come in. Matter of fact, I had an iPhone 11 Pro Max come in. 2 of them recently. Water damage. Person thought they would take it in the pool. Thought, oh, the phone's waterproof, water resistant. I told them right away, it is not. They do that so you have to buy a new device, and explained it to them. Then they understood, and they ruined a $2,000 phone. They had the biggest one there was, the 512 gig, and they bought like extra accessories for it and ruined those too in the water. So, honestly, and even life-proof cases, they say their cases are waterproof, lots of them fail, and your device gets ruined anyways. So, yeah. But, it happens, and just for everybody out there that needs service done to their device, as long as you ship it here, cost of shipping and handling payments, I will do repairs. I'm just gonna find a pen because I don't have my email on here, and just give me a sec, bear with me for a few. Here's a pen. Also, if you're from the US, or if you're not from Canada, British Columbia, don't send me text messages, just email me and I'll get your emails. Let me know who you are, what you got, what you need done, and we'll go from there. Okay? So I'm just putting my email down. And also, sorry about my writing. My writing's not the greatest. But here's my card. Hopefully everybody can read that. I hope that's not upside down on the other side. Showing upside down when I'm looking at it. So here's a show of it for a while. I'll bring it back a little farther so it's a little clearer. And now I'm going to flip it the other way just in case I had it upside down. And what's not showing on here is water damage, liquid damage treatment, but I do that, and I am gonna also put that on here. Sorry about that. That should be on my card here. I don't know if I'm spelling that right. And also data recovery is sometimes possible too. So I've added that to my card. Okay, it says I don't know if liquid there is spelt right, but liquid damage repair. I'll flip that around the other way, just in case I had it upside down. Okay. And once again, if you're from any other province or anywhere else other than Canada or British Columbia, email me only. Don't send me text to my phone, because then it costs me a lot of money for any other messages or calls like that. So make sure you email me only at the email address I gave there. Okay? And see what I can do. Alright, back to the asus Zenfone 3 Max. Let me get the box and show you exactly what version this is. So this is the box it came in. Okay. It's a 5.2 asus Zenfone 3 Max 5.2 inch. Okay. I'm gonna flip this the other way just in case it was upside down. There's the back of the box, what it looks like there. Turn it the other way just in case it was upside down. And there's the side of it there. Okay. Okay. And just says asus there. So yeah, I work on, it doesn't have to be expensive devices, it can be the cheapest devices to the expensivest devices, from the oldest to the newest, okay? But once again, you gotta cover the shipping it to me, shipping and handling cost, and also the cost to ship it back. You know what I mean there. You need to cover the cost of, I won't, it's better not to ship me real big devices, like something like a laptop, game console, phone, tablet, stuff like that. I don't have problems with that, but anything bigger than that, then, you know, may be hard for it to be shipped back, because then of the cost of the shipping and all that, okay? So, we'll go from there, right? So, anyway, any kind of liquid damage, unless it was like a very dangerous acid that could eat to your bones and stuff like that, or what I'm trying to say is it's really corrosive liquid that went in there that can hurt someone, like really hurt you, then I won't work on it. But other than that, any other liquid damage I'd work on, okay? So, I know I'm still working on this side of the board. Just want to make sure every detailed part has got so now that's it after really cleaned. Here's nice It had a little bit of glare after the first time I cleaned it on camera here, but it has more of a nice cleaning. Everything's shining. You can see the writing there. Hopefully you can see the writing on camera on those two BGA chips. Now I'm going to clean that side. So you know, there's, you know, and I recently, actually the phone that I'm using now was also water damaged. And the home button on it won't work anymore, but I have what's called Assessive Touch, which is on display home button, and it works fine. Working really good. And when I first got it, wouldn't even turn on. So that was a successful repair, and it's an iPhone 7 32 gig black, matte black, which is a really cool color. I like that one. I also like the red ruby red iPhone 7. They're cool too. I don't know if they have that same color, the red ruby color for the XR or the 11 or any of those other newer phones. I know they have the red ruby for iPhone 8, but I don't know about the other phones that are newer. Try to clean the humidity sensor really, really well, because sometimes the device won't turn on if the humidity sensor is faulty. Sometimes they're picky like that, some phones. And if it's faulty completely, well then you need to replace the humidity sensor with the identical one. But I don't see this humidity sensor being faulty. It looks pretty good. So it looks to me, so it looks to me we have two LEDs, one that will light up red, one that will light up green. I wonder if that'll show on camera. Where is it? Right here. Where are my fingers pointing? See that big, what looks like a massive LED? They're two separate LEDs. One's red and one's green. Or multicolor. One's multicolor and one's like red, or one's red and one's blue and green. So, you know, so it is on the one side. Just that the I love helping people out, you know, especially when you lose so much data on your device and then a repair shop turns you down, or they try to repair it and then they charge you a crap load of money for something like that, and then you find out, oh, they charged me this amount of money, but now my device is even more damaged from, right? You know, no shop should work on a device if they're going to damage it more on you. If you say you're going to do a good job, you better do a good job, right? Especially if you pay, you know, between $60 to $100 for the water damage treatment. With me, I only charge $30 for the treatment, and then plus the time and labor is another $30, so $60 for time and labor and the water damage treatment altogether. And if the device doesn't work afterwards and I can't recover it, then I just charge a straight up $30. Okay? So I'm not like other shops that charge you extreme price for stuff. The only way the price goes up is if it's a data recovery and it's board level repair. And if you message me, you send me a device that you want me to repair and you want me to make a video on it, I can do that. What I'll need you to let me know is what your name is, and also let me know if you want me to mention your name in the video or not. And if you don't, then I fully respect that. Okay? like making people happy when they have a device that breaks down. Lots of times, a lot of people really like the device that they have, and they don't want to have to replace it because it's, well, it has sentimental value. It has all their memories and stuff in there, and pictures and all the good stuff, right? So, and sometimes phones and tablets and stuff are special because they're a gift, you know. So, and that's where I come around and say, hey, I'll only charge this amount. Even, after, I'll let them know what all I do, and charge costs and whatever else, you know, and I have a drawer with a bunch of graveyard parts, graveyard phones, other things, spare screws, all sorts of stuff. So lots of times I can just, rig up the parts, take some parts from there, do a little bit of interchanging. And what I mean by interchanging is like charging part replacements. If I need to take components off of one board and put it onto this board, could do that as long as it's the same asus phone and stuff like that. Okay, there's this side now. See all that nice glare? See how nice those components are? I'll give you a better, closer. See all the components are all nice and clean and everything. It looks a lot better on the board. So now this evaporates pretty fast. So I'm gonna put the alcohol cleaner over here. There's the main board, and it's time to slowly start assembling this device. Now I'm just gonna have a good look at it, make sure there's no liquid anywhere. And it's all evaporated already, so that's perfect. It's all evaporated, all dry. There's no moisture anywhere on either side, so it's perfect. It's nice and dry. I can feel that it's dry and all that. So I'm just gonna pop my shields back on, the nice crispy burnt looking shields. It's not very good when they get that badly burnt. But lots of these phones amaze a lot of people on how bad they can look and actually come back to life and start working again. So I'm just going to clip all these shields back into their place. We'll try powering it on without connecting the charger. And if it doesn't work, then we'll connect the charger and see if anything happens. But the battery tests as it has its full 3.6 volts in it, so there should be more than enough to power it on. Alright, so there's all the shields back on her. There's all the shields back on there. Nice burnt shields. It is time. Let's see. There's the time to put the board back in. And make sure those just gonna have another look at the connectors. They look good. That one up. Oh, just reminded myself, let's not forget about our selfie and rear facing cameras. Gotta put those in before assembling it. I just reminded myself on that one. Almost forgot. I did that the first time I took it apart and forgot that. And then shortly after I'm like, oh, oops. And then put the parts in, the camera and stuff like that, and the little rubber protective pieces and all that. There we go. Now it's back together. There's our selfie camera right in that corner, and if I flip it over to the other side, you see there's our rear camera. So now it's time to put this device together and test her. So see if we can get this device to work. Hopefully it does. If it doesn't, well, and I'll leave it plugged in for a long time again, because you never know. It could be, let's see, what is, rating is 3.85 volts, 15.9 watts, 4030 milliamp hour. So, or 4130 milliamp hour. And what is the, just give me a sec here. And, oh, so when it's not charging, it's 4.4 volts, so my bad. It's testing at 3.7. So maybe it is still a little bit low, but I thought that that would be enough voltage to at least turn the device on, at least show the charging battery, like at 1 or 2% or whatever it would then be at, but apparently not. Okay, so I need this. So what I'm doing is I'm just connecting all the little plug-in connectors, okay? And then from there, I'm just gonna start putting all the screws back in. And I'm just putting a little pressure on the cable as I push down. I'm just gonna plug in my little antenna. These ones takes a little bit of, you know, concentrating. There we go. I'm not going to plug the battery in until all the connectors are seated. Oh, well, the only one that I can basically plug the battery in before connecting is my home button. But just to be extra safe, I won't even plug it in until the home button's been clicked in. So there's those connectors. As you can see, the battery's still not plugged in, but I got all the other ones attached and ready to roll. So now I'm going to put this shield back on. I'll show you quickly where it goes here. It goes up there. And if, yeah, it goes up like that. Okay. So now, grab my little screwdriver. That upside down so I can get my screws out. And then I'm gonna that. Hey, you never know. This thing might actually work. It might actually function. They did a pretty good job on it. It's taking their time. We got lots of time. I don't want those screws in there too tight. So yeah, I'm just going to put all these screws back in. I'm going to fully assemble this device and then test it. And see what she has for us, in store for us. See if it powers on, if it needs to charge for a while. It only came up as 3.7 volts and not when it's unplugged from the charger. It needs to be 4.4 volts. So I don't know whether that's going to be enough to turn it on, but that should be enough to at least light up the screen to where it shows that it's charging. Or maybe it needs to be at least 4 volts, so it's only 3.7. Alright, so there's all those connected, all the screws are back in. So now I just need to plug in our home button before connecting the battery, because I don't want to short the main board if it's fixed, and I don't want to arc out the home button in any way. It's basically the same thing as shorting out the main board, but you can also short out the home button, and if you do that, well, I don't know if this device, if the home button's married to the main board or not. So that's why I want it to be extra safe. Okay, so battery is plugged in, home button's plugged in. So now I'm just gonna, when you put your phone back in, back together, make sure the side you put in first is the volume up and down power. On an angle, give it a bit of a push so it's in, and then start clipping down. And it'll just, you can hear it all clipping back together. Make sure they're all, there we go. And then you want to put your SIM tray back in. Just have a look at it, make sure you're putting it in right, which I had the other way, so now I have it right. That's what that looks like. And just, there we go. Make sure it's flush, which it is. Alright, here we go. What is she gonna do? Now she's been fully serviced. Anything at all? Doesn't look good. Okay, so let's try plugging it in. Okay, so which way is it plugging in? That, alright, here we go. Alright, so we get the orange light like we did before. So without pressing the power button, let's just give it a few here. Hopefully, what should show fairly soon is a picture of a battery charging on the screen, or preparing to charge battery. Let's see, is it still going to be at the same problem as before? I may have to reflow the main board too, using a heat gun to redo the solder underneath the APU and NAND and all that. Usually doesn't take this long, but who knows. Let's try turning it on. I'm going to press the power. Just going to hold it down for a little while. Yeah, doesn't look good, does it? So I'm not going to say this one's a write-off. I'm going to say this one's more of one that I'm going to have to do the reflowing and reworking and all that. Yeah, it's still not turning on. Made some sort of noise there, like a little, not a popping sound, but like a little bit of a buzzing noise. Same sound as certain Nintendo Switches make when you shut them off, that kind of sound when I plugged it in. I'm just, with the camera facing toward, or the phone facing towards me, I'm going to try to boot it up here. Well, what I'll do is I'll just leave it. I'm going to leave it like that for a while. Maybe it is depleted. Maybe it has depleted as bad as I thought it did. And can't be fixed until I get those new parts. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. Click on the thumbs up. Click on the bell down below. Make sure you click on all notifications. And I will see you in the next one. Alright, cheers.